a lamppost or a drunk person. You can lean on them, but it won't get you home. At a certain point, you got to have a good feel for the game.
Analytically, I think we've won the I said 3 out of 3. We're 2 out of 3 in the expected. I don't know if you guys follow that. There's like an expected score, and we won 2 out of the 3. And I know you're looking confused. I have this feeling, then I can go to our analytical table and be like, man, we are. And I think last night it was, the expected score was like 1 point or 2. And I know no one wants to hear that. I think you guys like hearing it. I know, general public, no one wants to hear it. Everyone's outcome based. And, sure, I get that too.
Let's see if Stephen A. wants to hear it. So what he's saying there, for the people who are confused, Kenny Atkinson is basically saying if his team was making the shots they'd normally make and the Knicks were missing the shots they'd normally miss, the Cavs would be winning this series. Stephen A., your thoughts on that?
Let me have breaking news for you. If I went to Hair Club for Men, my headline would be 2 feet forward. A whole bunch of ifs. What the hell does that mean? Because at some point in time, it's about the reality. The reality is that 3 games have been played in the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Cleveland Cavaliers have lost all 3. And people from New York and every place between New York up to Cleveland have brought their brooms because they're expecting a sweep tonight, because that is how the Cleveland Cavaliers have been handled. You don't want to hear that nonsense from your coach. And I say it's nonsense, not because of the substance of it all. We all get the fact that, guess what? You know what? You did some good things in the midst of a loss. We understand that. But in the end, you keep losing. And you keep walking away with the L as opposed to the W. And when you got a coach that's willing to go that route and to bring up the analytics and how, in 2 of the 3 games, it really looks like we won. That is not what you want to hear from your head coach. That is not made of a championship ilk. And if I'm the owner, I'm looking at him with a raised eyebrow, to say the least. I keep telling y'all, there was this story about Daryl Morey when he lost a playoff game with Houston when he was with the Rockets. And I knew it was the end because he walked up to Tillman Fertitta, the owner for the Rockets, and even though they had lost the playoff game, he said, see, look at this. This is what the numbers say. So we really, really won. Oh, no, you didn't win. And that's why he was out as the executive running the franchise, because of nonsensical rhetoric like that. A win is a win, an L is an L. The particulars matter, but not at the end when the results are in. Somebody better tell Kenny Atkinson that before he utters that out of his mouth again.
Yeah, maybe he's just grasping at straws because nothing's working right now for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's swing it out west, Stephen A. The Spurs tied up the Western Conference Finals. Great performance, 21-point blowout of the champs last night. Victor Wembanyama dropped 33 points, including that 43-foot half-court shot to end the first half. SGA held to just 19 on 6 of 15 shooting. It feels like a foregone conclusion that the Cavs can't dig out of this hole. So as a Knicks fan, who would you be more afraid of facing in the finals, the Thunder right now or the Spurs?
I got to tell you that right now, believe it or not, it would be the Spurs. Because even though the Thunder, the reigning defending NBA champions that walked into San Antonio and won Game 3, in the end, what transpired in Game 4 really, really matters. Not only did they get blown out, not only did they come out so flat, not only did they shoot about 15% from three-point range and about 31% from the field, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was held in relative check, but they've got a couple of injuries in their backcourt. And so when you look at the fact that health is an issue, J-Dub is out, and you've got others that are hobbling around, it does become a bit concerning. Now, you juxtapose that to the San Antonio Spurs. They're young, they can be erratic, but their primary ball handlers in De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper, they're back. They weren't there for games, in Fox's case, he wasn't there for games 1 and 2, and Harper obviously got injured in the first game. The point is that Stephon Castle had primary ball handling responsibilities, and he had about 20 turnovers. That's not his position. He's playing out of position. He's an off guard. He's a small forward. He's a tweener in that way. Rough rider, fearless as hell, really attacks with vigor, goes after you. He's a treasure to watch and to have on your squad. But being point guard is not his position. Well, you don't have to worry about that anymore. You got De'Aaron Fox and Dylan Harper up in there as your primary ball handlers. And when you combine that with Castle, and then you look at Wembanyama at 7'5" and the havoc he causes, that is cause for concern if you're a New York Knicks fan. I can't deny it.
Whoever comes out of that Western Conference is going to be a little bit of a handful for anyone. But
the favorite.
Knicks are
They'll
playing really well right now. Stephen A., you can catch him, of course, every day on First Take. We appreciate the time. Meanwhile, Jalen Brunson and the Knicks, as we've talked about, just a win away from the NBA Finals. Brunson, he's been exceptional, averaging over 28 a game this series, including 20 points per in the second half in this series. Game 4 of Knicks-Cavs tipping off. We're on the scene in Cleveland with our Vince Goodwill, who has been with the Knicks all season. Hey, Vince, New York sits now just a win away from that long-awaited finals berth. What is the team saying about how the regular season kind of prepared them for this moment?
Well, first off, it's about closing down series, and they've done that. If you look at the first round, they beat Atlanta by 59 points. In the second round against the Philadelphia 76ers, they closed down that series with a 30-point win. Both of those were on the road. Josh Hart said this morning, we've been building up regular season habits that have helped build us to this moment. And he said we felt like we had been doing the regular season stuff, reaching benchmarks, so he's not surprised. He said it's kind of like a snowball effect that has gotten them to this point. He even joked about James Dolan's finals or else edict, saying, I guess we better make the finals or else we're going to be traded. I don't think they necessarily have to worry about that at this point. But Karl Towns said something interesting. He said when James Dolan made that statement, that was on January 5th. The Knicks were in a 2-9 stretch. That night, they had their worst loss of the season. And he said, you know what? We had the pressure on us all season long. And the way that we bonded together, we knew that ebbs and flows were going to happen. And even though we can stick together, nothing's going to break us. Not even a 22-point deficit in the fourth quarter of a playoff game.
Yeah, they're certainly on a flow right now, maybe peaking. Best basketball we've seen out of this team all year. Jalen Brunson, massive favorite to win Eastern Conference Finals MVP. Did not get a ton of love in the regular season from MVP voters. So what is the team saying about his performance in this series and really in the entire postseason?
Well, he didn't get any love in the regular season MVP voting. He didn't finish in the top 8. Mike Brown stumped for him yesterday on our Zoom call, saying he's been one of the best two-way players in the league as far as taking charges and also leading this ball club. And, yeah, he's a big-time favorite to win Eastern Conference MVP. It's important to remember, Jalen Brunson was the first domino amongst this New York Knicks puzzle. When they traded for Josh Hart and OG Anunoby, that was to protect him on defense. When they traded for Karl Anthony Towns, that was to spread the floor and to expose his dominance as a leader. So, with all that said, there's an opportunity in front of him tonight that a regular season MVP vote cannot do. He can etch himself into Knicks history, into NBA history, by leading this team to the NBA Finals for the first time in over 25 years.
Yeah, he has looked unstoppable at times, certainly in this series. Vince giving us his thoughts. Knicks right now 2.5-point road favorites for this game. No way to sugarcoat this for the Cavs. Their prospects are definitely bleak. No NBA team has ever overcome a 3-0 series deficit. 163 teams have tried, and 163 teams have failed. We've seen it happen 4 times in the NHL, once in baseball, again, never in basketball. DraftKings has the Cavs as 20-1 long shots to become the first NBA team to complete the comeback. And we continue with our coverage from Cleveland with our Jamal Collier, who's handling the Cavs side of things. So, Jamal, take us inside the Cleveland locker room right now. What are the Cavs saying about this desperate spot they find themselves in?
Yeah, well, Kenny Atkinson went around to the players yesterday on the off day and asked simply, why do you believe? And the answers that he said he got gave him confidence, reassurance that this team hasn't quit and let go of the rope just yet. Got a range of answers from the guys, simply for the fact that they feel like they haven't hit shots, played well in this series so far. They pointed to the fact that they have won games against the Knicks, had success in the past, and even that 22-point deficit in Game 1 that they eventually lost in the fourth quarter and in overtime. And that's why Jalen Tyson highlighted the fact that they feel like they have not actually put a full 48 minutes of playing at their best together. This team, when they've had their backs against the wall, we're talking about the 2 Game 7s in the past 2 rounds, they actually turned in their 2 best games and best performances. And Tyson went on to say it's about pride. The Cavs have to have pride, knowing the Knicks are going to come in here and try to sweep them on